Hey everybody, so here's an update. I went today to drop off Scotch with the person that I had figured out was going to take him, and where we went there were probably about 30 dogs. It was a wooded area on a hill. The dogs were... I don't want to say that it was deplorable conditions. I've seen worse, but it was pretty bad. And as soon as I showed up, I started having major pangs of consciousness knowing that I couldn't leave my dog there. I knew that there was no way in the world that he would be able to... I mean, it wasn't happy. It wasn't... I mean, it was actually extremely sad. I mean, I wanted to let all of the dogs free and, tell them to just get the hell out of there. They had to be better off on their own than they were in there. The lady was very nice, but when it all came down to it, I ended up in an area. I can't even call them kennels. I can't call them cages. They're just like areas set apart with some kind of fencing material. I ended up in this area with another dog and Scotch that they actually got along decently well right off the bat. And forgive this adjustment, but it's all fish-eyed. I don't even know what I'm doing. There we go. So anyway, so I ended up in this area with Scotch and another dog. Both of them actually they got along fine. And the lady went to get some water for that specific area which wasn't being used. And I mean, I'm in there and my heart's breaking for Scotch, my heart's breaking for all the other dogs. I'm, trying to figure out, can I leave him here and live? It's like, can I abandon my dog in this place? And I realized then that, I couldn't. And I was like, you know what? No, I really can't do this. I don't know what, but I need to do something else. About that time, two of the dogs got out of their areas, which was, they got out of their area by digging, and I had actually seen them digging, and I thought, I wonder if they're digging their way out, and then I wasn't paying attention. Next thing I know, there are two dogs running around. As soon as any two dogs are out, as soon as any dog is out of their area, all of the dogs just go apeshit crazy. So I realized that there are dogs running around, and then they're going around all the cages or all the areas. I'm, for all intents and purposes, locked into my area with Scotch and this other dog, and the dogs come over to say hi. The dogs are somewhat aggressive. Scotch is scared. Scotch starts barking at him through the fence. The other dogs start barking at him through the fence, and next thing I know, the other dog that's in the area with me and Scotch attacks Scotch. So I'm trying to get them separated, and it's like I'm using my legs, my hands, my arms, everything that I can in order to get them off, and I don't want to beat either dog in order to get them off. And so in the end, I grab Scotch and I just pick him up. He's about 50 pounds, so it's not just kind of like, grab them by the scruff of their neck and pick them up. It's you grab on and you pick them up, and I set them on top of the doghouse that we had set up. And I mean, I'm freaking out at this point. I'm already breaking down emotionally, and then this happens. And then I see the blood, and I realize that it's Scotch's blood, and it's pretty much running out of his mouth. And I try to wipe away the blood to make sure, it's like, okay, is this his blood? I wipe away the blood. It's immediately replaced. It's like, shit. And I've got Scotch up and above, and I grab onto him with one arm, and I unhook the cage, fence door, whatever, with the other hand, and I get out, and I'm headed back to my car. I'm getting the shit out of there. I could not I couldn't do it. And I mean, I got to the car, I, tossed Scotch inside. He's still bleeding, and it's like, oh my God, what the hell did that dog just do to my dog? And we get to, I roll up the windows because the other two dogs are still loose. It's like, what the hell am I supposed to do? There's, one dog attacks my other dog, and there's two other dogs that are running free. It's like, I can't do anything about this other than get Scotch in the car, which is the only safe place for him. So I get him into the car, and he, like I said, he's still bleeding. So when I end up getting back in my car, there's, blood all over the inside of the car. I go and I find the lady who had gone off and got water, and I'm in tears. Someday I'll tell you about my medical condition, but it's like I'm just red in the face. I've lost it. I'm completely and totally broken down. I'm shaking. I'm angry. I'm nervous. I mean everything that you could possibly imagine. Hang on, another move here. Pick your hand up. There you go. Everything, all of these emotions are running through my head. I had, already been dealing with the fact that I was more than likely going to have to say goodbye to him. I didn't want to have to say goodbye to him at all, let alone, as soon as I saw that place, I was like, I can't say goodbye to you here. I was like, I'll always imagine that you just starved to death, ran away, or got shot. That's just what I thought. And so I tell the lady, I'm like, look, I can't. I was like, first of all, here's what happened. And it was about that time that I realized that my leg hurt. So if I wasn't holding the camera, I would pull up my pants as opposed to pull down my pants and show you what happened to me. But let's just say that I've got a very pretty bite sort of thing on my leg. Now, before anybody says, you should sue that crazy lady, no, I'm not going to, number one. Number two, I wouldn't have gotten anything out of her. She's broke. I wouldn't get anything out of her even if I did sue her. Also, it was a situation that, in my opinion, was beyond her control. Maybe there was a little bit of neglect on her part because I was emotional and not thinking straight. And when she left me with two dogs in an enclosure, and one of the dogs was hers that I didn't know, Scotch didn't know, although the dog was very friendly. It was friendly to Scotch. We took a little walk together before all of this happened. Anyway, the point is I'm not going to sue, so, don't worry about that, and it's a live and learn thing. Now, here's the part where I just feel completely and totally stupid. My next door neighbor is actually a veterinarian, not a veteran. And when I called my mom and told her what happened, she then called my next door neighbor, and my neighbor was like, oh my God, why didn't you tell me? And I would have helped. And okay, so you say that you got bit. So, I mean, I get home. There's another story in between this and when I get home, but I'll tell you that in a second. When I get home, my next door neighbor, she's over here with antibiotics, painkillers, and surgical scrubs to get the cuts, and the cut on my leg, the cut on Scotch's. In the end, what happened was, you can't see it, I'm not going to try and get close to him. He's got a cut above his right eyebrow. He got a cut inside his mouth on the lip on the right side, and he's got, I'm not really sure what it is, but there's a lymph node right underneath his chin on the right side, and it's swollen, and there are a couple of what seem like hematomas, not in his skull, but just, a pooling of blood underneath. It's swelling. The vet said, the painkillers will help that go down, but it is possible that over the next couple of days it will actually just get bigger. He's got a bite on his side that it didn't, right about there. It did not break the skin, so there's just kind of a welt there. And my leg is bruised badly and cut decently well too. But, it's like, and my vet she says, what was the lady's name? And I told her the name, and she was like, oh, God, I'm so glad that you did not leave him there. I guess this lady has a reputation with professionals that is very, very bad. Unfortunately, I did not do due diligence on checking up on this lady ahead of time. And again, this is where I kick myself in the ass and say, my next door neighbor is a vet. Why the hell didn't I go to her in the very first place? As soon as I knew I was leaving, she should have been the first person that I called. So anyway, a lot of lessons learned. Because I didn't drop him off and because I'm supposed to leave tomorrow, my parents actually talked and they said that they would keep Scotch until a new home could be found. And so he gets to stay here when I do leave, and working with my vet, my parents are going to find him a new home, and a real home. And also, my parents are going out of town next week. They said if they haven't found anything by next week that they'll pay for the boarding, and so they'll board him with my vet. You can kind of see the swelling right there on his cheek. Part of that's just skin, but part of that is swelling. So I can still leave, and I can leave knowing that my vet and my parents are both on the case for finding Scotch a new home. I feel a little bad because, again, I didn't do it. But as it is, I know that in the time that it takes to find him a new home, he gets to stay here. He'll be a little lonely. I'm sure that my mom will probably come out and read. She'll probably read my dog the Bible rather often, which will be interesting. I'll see how long it takes before my dog says, "Oh God, woman, shut up." I'm sure he'll just enjoy the attention, because that's all he ever wants anyway, is attention and love. So I'll breeze through the rest of this really quickly. The other thing that happened after I left the bad place, then I went to pick up the trailer for my car so that I could pack it. The whole plan today was to drop off Scotch, go and get the trailer, get home, pack up the trailer, wake up tomorrow, and pretty much, leave. Get ready to go and just head out. I went to pick up the trailer, and it turns out my trailer hitch, the electrical for the lights, I don't know what that's called, light hookup. So anyway, so that the brake lights and the turn signals and everything work on the trailer, turns out it doesn't work. And so we test it on my car. We test 2 different trailers. We can't get it to work, and so it's one of those, we don't know where the problem is. It's a possibility that both of these trailers are screwed, but more than likely the problem is with your car. Now, I haven't had it checked out. I haven't had it serviced. I only used it once when I moved back here last year. So there is a very distinct possibility that it is mine, and I have to get up butt early tomorrow morning and drive to Dayton, which is it's probably about an hour drive in order for me to get to U-Haul. I need to try and be there as soon as they open, so that's up at 5, in the car at 6, be there by 7. The fact that, and then have them check, that's the text message that says dinner's ready. So I have to go and do that tomorrow so that I can get the wiring checked out, so that I can get the wiring fixed, so that, and hopefully they'll be able to see me right away, or at least, early tomorrow morning, so that I can go and pick up the trailer, come home, pack everything, and then determine whether I'm going to leave tomorrow afternoon or whether I'm going to hold off and leave on Saturday. So there's the update, and I honestly, although there are a lot of things that could have gone worse, I can't really imagine how anything could have gone worse at this point. Kind of a crazy day. Maybe if I was in a crash or if somebody died. Those would be about the only other 2 things that could have caused today to be even more jacked up. Luckily, neither one of those happened. And luckily, Scotch is home and safe. And, yeah. We're both on antibiotics. That was the other thing my vet said is, 1 for Scotch, 1 for you. Every time he takes 1, you take 1. And if you leave before Scotch is gone, we'll get Scotch more, you take the antibiotics. So I'm on doggy antibiotics. So if I start scratching myself or attempting to lick myself in places that are best left untouched, sort of, then I'll know something's wrong. Okay, we're hitting 15 minutes. I don't want to bore you guys anymore, but there's the update. I'll let you guys know when I actually leave. Take care.